Hi there, Richard Filmer here. Welcome to another edition of Richard's Rambles, where we talk about music genres, music bands, concerts, and that kind of thing. And we're going to carry on looking at the Southern rock genre. And the second album that I want to talk about today is a live album by the Allman Brothers. It's called Live at the Fillmore East, and it was recorded live on March the 12th and the 13th, 1971. The members of the band at that time were Duane Allman, who played lead and slide guitar, amazing slide guitarist. Greg Allman, his brother, on organ, piano, and he was the main vocalist. Dickie Betts on lead guitar. Barry Oakley on bass. Johanny Johansson, better known as Jamo. He was on percussion, drums, congas, and timbales. And then last but not least, Butch Trucks, who was drums and timpani. The album was produced by Tom Dowd, and as I say, this was released in 1971. And it's the kind of live album that when you listen to this album, you really get a feel that you're there. You're actually in the audience and there's the band playing. It's that kind of feel. It's a real feel. It's not something which has been doctored or mixed or mastered. It's the real deal. And as far as I'm concerned, this album is in my top 10 live albums of all time, easily. There are some quite lengthy tracks on here, because besides being a Southern rock band, the Allman Brothers, as opposed to Lynyrd Skynyrd and a couple of the other guys, were more of a jam band. A lot of jazz influences, lengthy guitar solos, organ work, a lot of percussion, lots of improvisation, but they always knew when to come back into a track. And even if the tracks were long, you never got bored. It was interesting. You didn't lose interest even if it was 9 or 10 or weeks, sometimes longer. Some of their tracks could go on 20 minutes, 30 minutes, which is quite long to hold somebody's attention, but they managed it because they were all consummate musicians and they fed off each other. You know, the two guitarists would play off each other, and of course Greg on the organ, and he had a great voice. A lot of emotion in his voice, and he really knew how to carry a song. So this is the album. There was more recently an expanded version of this album, which I think was about 6 discs. This is the original release that came out, which consists of 7 tracks. As I say, some of them are quite long. Some of you might say 7, that's not really much, but they are pretty long. Some of the ones towards the end of the album. So it starts off with Statesboro Blues, which is a cover, a standard, and they really do a good job on this one. That one clocks in at about 4 minutes. Done Somebody Wrong. Stormy Monday, done by numerous people, Jethro Tull, B.B. King. It's a blues staple, but they really have a good version on here. You Don't Love Me, Hotlanta, In Memory of Elizabeth Reed, which is an instrumental track, which is the most gorgeous guitar work on here. The two guys feeding off each other, and of course Duane Allman was just sublime on the slide guitar. And the last track is the longest on here, 23 minutes and change, Whipping Post, which became a staple of the band, and it was played at almost every concert, along with In Memory of Elizabeth Reed. Those 2 tracks, I think, were played right up until the end of this band. I think Whipping Post has actually been covered by people as diverse as Frank Zappa, which it's quite strange. He's not the kind of guy that would do a number like Whipping Post, but he actually does it pretty well. So yeah, there we have it, 7 tracks. An amazing live album, and unfortunately Duane wouldn't last much longer after this live album. I think he passed away either in this year or the year after in a motorbike accident. And then they would go on to lose Barry Oakley, the bass guitarist, also in a motorbike accident, weirdly enough, also almost in the same area he lost his life. But I think even including their early studio albums, this is the album that really put them on the map and showed the world that these guys had a lot to offer. As I say, very different to some of the other Southern rock bands, you know, but they weren't really a boogie bar band like some of the Southern rock. These guys really could stretch out, and lots of fills, lots of jazz influences. Just overall a great album, and I would urge anybody who's wanting to get into Southern rock to go and look for this live album, Live at the Fillmore East. So there we have it, the second edition in my Southern rock venture. We shall see what the next one is. Hope you enjoyed it. Take care.